Hi there, my name is Southam and I'm a composer based in Toronto, Canada. This video is part 3 and the final video of a series focusing on minimalism in the world of Western classical music. If you haven't done so, make sure to watch the first 2 episodes listed here to get some much needed background about where minimalism came from and who got it off the ground. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So over the past few weeks, we've explored minimalism, its inception, its key figures, and its stylistic development. But as we get to John Adams, we already realize that minimalism has transitioned into a stylistic tendency that we call post-minimalist. Essentially, post-minimalist in music is a style where a composer is simply inspired or influenced by minimalist practice or procedures, and instead of applying it ferociously to their music, uses it expressively and creatively to enhance their creative purpose. For instance, John Adams has become less and less associated as a minimalist composer in his recent activities, and more as a composer who is influenced by minimalism. And this has followed suit with many more composers, some of whom we'll be discussing today. Composer and musicologist Kyle Gann writes this about post-minimalism. Another way to characterize the post-minimalist idiom is negative. It is the exact antipodal opposite of serialism. Like the serialists, the post-minimalists have tended to seek a consistent musical language, a cohesive syntax within which to compose. But where serialist syntax was abrupt, discontinuous, angular, arrhythmic, and opaque, post-minimalist syntax is precisely the opposite. Smooth, linear, melodic, gently rhythmic, comprehensible. Now, it is very difficult to distinguish between composers who are labeled as post-minimalist as opposed to the ones that are simply influenced by it. I'm certain that some of the composers I'll be listing here will cause debate, but I will try my best to provide reasons as to why I think they fall under the same category. I would also like to point out that this is by no means an exhaustive list, and there are many composers out there who would fall under the same category that I either forgot to list or don't know about. So by all means, feel free to leave more names in the comment section below and let me know. Also, for a variety of reasons, I can only include a very small fragment of each piece as examples in this video. So I encourage you to go and listen to these on your own. I'll also be sure to include a link to every single piece that I'm playing in the description below. And on to our first composer, Julia Wolfe. An American composer, and a heavily decorated one too. While her style is considered heavily influenced by her earlier New York minimalist predecessors, her recent work has shown significant departure from it, and yet we can still hear the motoric, repetitive, and slowly evolving elements in there. Here's a few seconds of her 1994 Tell Me Everything. Lang. Another American composer, and a close colleague to Wolfe as well, Lang's music is complex, incredibly emotive, and yet abstains from overdevelopment. Here's an excerpt from his Pulitzer Prize-winning The Little Match Girl Passion. Julius Eastman. Yet another New Yorker, Eastman is known for his outrageous and daring use of minimalism. He's also introduced many elements of pop music in his works. He describes his own music as gradual accrual and accumulation, often followed by gradual disintegration. Janice Giteck. Boy, lots of New Yorkers here. She's deeply influenced by world, especially Indian classical music. Here's a bit of her Shanti. John Luther Adams. Now, what are the chances of another highly celebrated and award-winning John Adams as a composer? Pretty high, apparently. Now, John Luther Adams is actually considered more of a maximalist in a way that his works, just like minimalism, stretch long periods and change very slowly. However, his textures and movements often feel like they are elongated forms of existing music, as though time is slowing down and he's playing with our sense of time and space. Here's a small bit of his Pulitzer Prize-winning Commotion. And Southam. Yay, a Canadian. Perhaps the most famous Canadian minimalist. She's best known for her integration of jazz and blues in her minimal works. Here are a few seconds of her glass houses. Now here's a list of composers that are more gently influenced by minimalism. Also, other maximalist composers who really use the philosophy of minimalism to a great degree. One can even locate moments of minimalism in the works of some very hardcore avant-garde composers such as George Eastman. And many more composers. I hope that I've been able to make a strong point for the versatility, importance, and necessity of minimalism. While no musical practice, aesthetic, or school of thought can please or satisfy everyone, we must bear in mind that genres and styles oftentimes emerge in response to a need for expression. And to denounce that, or refuse to acknowledge its roots, is nothing but denial. Minimalism won back the popularity that classical music much deserved. It combined sophisticated modes of music making such as electronics, math, and improvisation with the long-forgotten diatonicism of the 18th and 19th century. It allowed composers to descend from their high horse of elite structuralism and create for their audiences without sacrificing their artistic integrity. Anyways, that concludes our 3-episode series about minimalism. If you like these videos and you want me to make more, please make sure to like and subscribe, and also leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts and also suggestions for future videos. Thanks again for tuning in, and see you soon.